In the wake of recent struggles from Tyler Bass, it has become blatantly obvious that the Buffalo Bills need to at the very least bring in competition at the kicker position, and that's what they've done by signing Lucas Havrisik to their practice squad. This move comes after a putrid start to the year for Bass, who has made just 75% of his field goals in 2024, which is near the bottom of the NFL's kicker stats. Welcome back to the Bills Bunker, everybody. I'm Jake Varco, and today I want to talk to you about this addition. Finally, Brandon Beane brings in a kicker, adding one to the practice squad. I just got to say, Brandon Beane's on a bit of a roll this week. He goes ahead and brings in a wide receiver, Amari Cooper, on Tuesday, and now today goes ahead and adds a kicker. Those are two things that Bills Mafia has been begging for. He's brought them in. Let's talk about this new kicker, what he brings to the team, and how this impacts Tyler Bass. But before we do that, I'd like to take a moment to encourage you to stay tuned for more content coming your way all season long, right here on the channel. Click that subscribe button, click like if you like this video, and let me know your thoughts about this new kicker in the comments section down below. Havrisik is a 25-year-old kicker who has just 9 games of NFL experience with the Los Angeles Rams in 2023 when he converted 15 of 20 field goal attempts with a 22-yard game winner that came late in the fourth quarter of a game against the Seattle Seahawks last season. With just 9 games of NFL experience under his belt, Havrisik is obviously not going to be considered one of the league's premier kickers, but anything will suffice for the Buffalo Bills at this point. Havrisik's career-long field goal conversion is from 52 yards out, and he initially joined the NFL as an undrafted free agent back in 2022. He's also spent time on the practice squads of the Indianapolis Colts and the Cleveland Browns in the past, after spending 5 seasons in college at Arizona. This team really is just looking to bring in competition for Bass at this point, and that's what Havrisik does. The Bills are hopeful that the competition will help give Tyler Bass a boost in production, and if it doesn't, then Havrisik might have his name called upon very soon. Last year, Bass had some struggles, but ever since missing a game-tying attempt against the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs, he just simply hasn't been the same. There has to be some sort of mental barrier going on for the kicker Tyler Bass, as it must be nearly impossible to shake off the thought of making such a monumental mistake in such a big-time game. At this point in time, Bass is converting field goals at a career-low 75% rate, but it's more than that. He's also just made 90% of his point-after attempts. He's struggling on point-after conversions, so this downward spiral in production from Bass is quite evident, and it's something that everybody can see. It's just a matter of putting your personal biases aside, because there are still a lot of people that love Tyler, but this is more of an on-the-field issue than a personal issue. But it's not as easy as just cutting Bass for Buffalo, and that's because if the Bills were to release Bass this season, it would actually result in a dead cap charge of over $7 million in dead cap, which is a number that can be split between this season and next season. But it's something that the team simply can't afford right now. So the Buffalo Bills have finally addressed the kicker position in some way. It might not be the way that everybody wants to, but this team is tied up against the cap right now, so bringing in Havrisik at the very least gives Tyler Bass some competition, and if his struggles continue, the Bills can elevate Havrisik to the active roster, and perhaps we'll see him pretty soon. Depends on how Tyler Bass continues to play. We could see Havrisik as soon as Sunday. So the Buffalo Bills sign Havrisik to their practice squad, and we could see him brought up at any point this season, elevated to the active roster on a game day, and honestly, at this point in time, it can't hurt, right? Tyler Bass, he's been struggling. It's pretty evident he's been struggling, and there has to be something going on with a mental barrier ever since missing that kick in the 2023 season, that big-time kick against the Chiefs in the playoffs. He's just been struggling, and that's got to be a really hard thing to shake off. Like, I like Tyler Bass as a person. I'm sure you do too. But on the field, it's quite evident that he's struggling, and this cannot go on. There's 3 phases to the game of football: offense, defense, special teams, and the offense and defense are being asked to pick up the slack of special teams. It's usually the other way around. Special teams need to pick up the slack of the offense, but not in this case. It's a real liability to send on Tyler Bass out there on any given play for him to kick a field goal. And you can't have that. You need ice in your veins as a kicker, and Tyler Bass just doesn't appear to have it right now. So I want to know your thoughts on the addition of Havrisik to the practice squad. Do you think he'll get some reps this season in game? Let me know. I think it's trending in that direction. The patience has to be wearing thin with Tyler Bass for this front office at this point, because if the Bills are going to go on a run, and it's so often that we see games go down to the wire, come down to a kick, it's going to be really hard to have Tyler Bass trot back out there and have faith in him. But that's my opinion. I want to know yours. What are your thoughts on this whole kicking situation in Buffalo? And do you like the addition of Havrisik? Let me know. If you haven't yet, click subscribe. Stay tuned for more content coming your way all season long right here on the Bills Bunker. I'll be at the game Sunday when the Tennessee Titans take on the Buffalo Bills, and we'll get a first look at Amari Cooper in a Bills uniform. Go Bills. See you soon.